Hello everyone. Today we are going to learn the importance of creep. So why studying creep deformation is important? How is it relevant to a metallurgist, an engineer, designer or scientist? How it affects our day-to-day life? Of course, the whole objective of learning creep is to know how long a material or component is going to survive in a real life applications. What is the kind of service life that we can expect from a component in use in any engineering applications? So with a course of time, today we will discuss all these 7 contents one by one. So we start with the introduction part. So how we will define creep? Creep means slow and progressive deformation of a material with time at constant stress or constant load under high temperature conditions. Creep even can occur because of long exposure of materials to high level of stress even below their yield strength, and creep is more severe in materials which are subjected to heat for long periods and generally increases as they are near their melting points. The phenomena of creep is observable in metals, ionic and covalent crystals, amorphous materials such as glass and polymers. As far as metals are concerned, they show creep at high temperature conditions, whereas plastics, rubbers and similar materials, they are very temperature sensitive. Next is our creep importance. Creep becomes important in the soft metals which are even used at room temperature, such as lead pipes, steam and chemical plants operating at 450 to 550 degrees Celsius, gas turbines, rockets, missiles, supersonic jets and nuclear fields all work under high temperature conditions. So under high temperature conditions, plastic deformation of the order of even 1 to 2% will lead to severe problems such that engine could develop problems, and in worst case engine can even crash. So it is important to monitor creep deformation in these materials so that we know the useful life of these components. Now moving on to third point, that is types of creep. So now we can see we have draw a diagram between strain versus time, and we have plotted three graphs. First one is low temperature creep or logarithmic creep. Second one is medium temperature creep or recovery creep. And third one is high temperature or diffusion creep. So now we will discuss all these three curves one by one. So we start with the logarithmic or low temperature creep. Now you can see this phenomena of creep basically occurs in those materials which are operated below 0.5 Tm. Tm means melting temperature of a material. So if they are operated in this range, that is basically known as low temperature range. In this range, you can see this creep rate decreases with the passage of time. Creep rate means slope of this graph. Slope of this graph keeps on decreasing and then increasing. So in starting phase, you say at low temperature conditions, the graph basically belongs to a logarithmic curve in which the deformation produced is proportional to time and creep rate decreases with time. Second one is medium temperature or recovery creep. In this, the temperature range is greater as compared to logarithmic creep, and temperature range is 0.5 to 0.7 Tm. Here you can see the influence of work hardening is weakened and there is possibility of mechanical recovery. As a result, the creep rate does not decrease as rapidly as at low temperature creep. Medium temperature creep, which occurs in many engineering materials, particularly during hot working of metals, falls under this category. Now third and last one is high temperature or diffusion creep. As the name suggests, the temperature conditions are beyond 0.7 Tm. So at this high temperature conditions, the diffusion mechanism take place and stress applied has a very little effect. This type of creep is also known as plastic creep. Now moving on to fourth point, that is factors affecting creep. Basically there are four factors. We will discuss all these four factors one by one. Now starting with the grain size. What is the meaning of grain? Grain means atomic size. We generally have three types of grains on the basis of their size. One is fine grains, another is medium grains, and last one is coarse grains. Coarse means जिनका साइज बहुत बड़ा है. So generally coarse grained materials show better creep resistance than fine grained ones, because fine grained materials have greater amount of grain boundary materials, and grain boundaries behave as quasi viscous material with the high tendency to flow at elevated temperatures or high temperatures. So it is due to this reason that single crystals show higher creep resistance than polycrystalline materials. So to understand this phenomena, if we quote an example of tungsten filament. Now this tungsten material is having a melting temperature of nearly 3400 degrees Celsius. Now this tungsten filament, which is used in electrical bulbs, they are basically made of single crystals. So that's why they can withstand such type of high temperature. So this is about the grain size. In short, you will say coarse grain materials have better creep resistance rather than fine grained ones. So second point related with factor is thermal stability. Thermal means heat, temperature. So those materials which are thermal stable, it means they can withstand high temperature conditions. So for just an example, an annealed specimen have higher thermal stability as compared to a quenched steel. So we can say thermal stability of microstructure of alloys at high temperature plays an important role. And third one related with the factor is prior cold working conditions. It also has a strong effect on creep, accelerated in some metals during recrystallization followed by cold working. So in cold working conditions, when the material is worked, there are chances of stress concentrations. So because of these stress concentration zone, the material can flow, the material can fail. And the fourth point is pure metals. So pure metals which have high melting points and compact atomic structure, generally they show high creep resistance at high temperature conditions. Creep resistance of pure metals can be considerably increased by alloying them with suitable materials. So we have discussed four factors. One is grain size, second one thermal stability, third one prior cold working conditions, and last is pure metals. Now moving on to creep test. So this is a setup of our creep test. Now you can see this whole setup is basically in the electric furnace where we control the temperature of our specimen. This is our platinum wire and this is our specimen. From this pulley mechanism, we apply the load on our specimen. Through this telescope, we can check the deformation produced in our material. So, in order to have this creep test basically takes very long time. For testing one specimen, 10,000 hours or 417 days are required. 10,000 घंटे और 417 दिन. It means why we invest so much high time for performing a creep test even on a one specimen. So what is the main objective? So objective of creep test is to determine the limiting creep stress. What is the meaning of limiting creep stress? A stress at which the specimen will just not break for an infinite period at a specific constant temperature. So main objective of this creep test is to calculate the value of limiting creep stress, the stress at which the specimen will not break even for an infinite period of time at a particular temperature. So where we will use these results? So the results of creep test are basically used in the design of machine parts, furnace parts, internal combustion engine, boilers, turbine blades. All these components are basically exposed to high temperature conditions. So main objective of this creep test is to determine the value of limiting creep stress. So now moving on to next topic, that is creep curve. So this is a graph between strain versus time. We can draw this creep curve either on the basis of constant stress or on the basis of constant loading condition. So what is the meaning of this constant stress? Constant stress means stress on a metal is maintained constant. How you will maintain this stress constant? Because stress is load upon area, and with the passage of time the cross-sectional area goes on decreasing. So we have to decrease the load in order to maintain the stress. So load is decreased in order to compensate for reduction in cross section in case of constant stress conditions. But in constant loading conditions, we apply a constant load just like a tensile loading conditions, and constant temperature is maintained around the specimen. So now we will discuss this creep curve in detail. Now this graph is basically showing the various stages in this creep curve. So in the starting phase, when we applied a load or stress on a material, our material elongate without any wasting of time. So this change, this strain is basically known as instantaneous creep. After that, we have basically three stages: stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3. Stage 1 is also known as primary creep. Stage 2 is known as secondary creep, and this is stage 3, which is also known as tertiary creep. So in this whole mechanism of the curve, we discuss all these three stages one by one. So starting with the stage 1. Now you can see in this stage the creep rate decreases rapidly from a large initial value. This is a decrease of the slope. Initially it was a very large one, but in the first stage, in the stage 1, the creep rate decreases. Why this decrease is there in this creep rate? This decrease in creep rate is basically due to structural changes which are occurring in the metal. So most of the energy is used in these structural changes, and that is the reason for this decrease of the slope. The structural changes basically consist of 2 points. First one is strain hardening or work hardening or creep resistance, which is basically hardening process. Because of work hardening, creep rate decreases. And second one is recovery and recrystallization or rise in stress. That is a softening process. In the first stage, work hardening dominates over rise in stress or recovery or recrystallization. So both of these processes, first one work hardening, second rise in stress or recovery, they go on opposing each other until the end of stage 1. Now in the second stage, you can see this stage is also known as steady state creep curve, because the slope of the line is constant. This stage is often of a large duration. Now this constant creep rate is due to the fact that work hardening and recovery processes both exactly balance each other. In the first stage, as we have discussed, work hardening dominates over recovery or rise in stress. But in the second part, both balance each other. So that's why the slope of this line is almost steady, and duration is also very a long period. duration is there. Now moving on to the third stage, that is also known as tertiary stage. Now in this stage you can see the creep rate increases very rapidly until at this particular point fracture occurs. Now why this creep rate increasing? We know the necking effect. Necking means the cross-sectional area which is supporting the applied load goes on decreasing, and because of decrease of cross-sectional area, the external stress required is very less, because stress is already increasing in the material because of decreasing cross section, and that is called necking effect. So in the third stage, rise in stress dominates over work hardening phenomena, and rise in stress is basically related with softening process. So that's why the creep rate of the material goes on increasing, and ultimately the material will fail at this particular position that is represented by capital D. Now next one is related with two parameters, that is temperature and stress. So we have basically plotted 4 graphs in which temperature changes as well as stress is changing. T1, T2, T3, sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3. We can maintain either constant temperature or constant stress. Now first of all, if we discuss with the temperature, now you can see this temperature T3 is greater than T2 is greater than T1. Similarly, stress sigma 3 is greater than sigma 2 is greater than sigma 1. Now for both these parameters, either temperature or stress, the behavior of creep is same. Now you can see if we increase the temperature or stress, this is known as instantaneous strain. Now you can see the value of instantaneous strain goes on increasing as we increase the temperature or increase the stress. Now second point is related with the slope. Slope means creep rate. And you can see this is the slope of the graph. This is slope of the graph. This is slope of the graph. Slope means creep rate. You can see the creep rate goes on increasing with the increase of either temperature or stress. Now this is failure time or rupture time. This one is related with time. Now you can see with the increase of temperature or stress, the failure time goes on decreasing. So either temperature or stress both show the same behavior as far as the creep is concerned. Now we have reached to the last point, that is prevention against creep. So now how we can prevent the creep rate or creep behavior? So there are basically different ways. So first one is to use higher melting temperature materials. Second is to use materials with greater grain size. And third way is to use alloying of the materials. And finally, the last way is to use intelligent design to reduce the possible factors of creep. And materials which are resilient to creep are stainless steels, refractive materials. Refractory means those materials which can withstand high temperature conditions. So refractive materials containing elements like niobium, molybdenum, and last we can use super alloys, cobalt or nickel based materials. So we can prevent the creep behavior. So this is all about the creep. So we have discussed all these 7 points in detail. For detailed description of what we have discussed in the text form, I have already attached a PDF file in the description below. Just download from the description box. Thank you.